Well, neighbor, evening, hear this now. It's your boy Trini Trent, and I have some news. Trinidad and Tobago Carnival 2021 has been cancelled. Yes, folks, Trinidad and Tobago Carnival has been cancelled. I never thought I would be saying them words out of my mouth in my lifetime. But it is what it is. We have to follow the COVID-19 pandemic protocols and we have to stay alive. But everything is not doom and gloom. Everything is not dread. There's a ray of light coming through the clouds, just like my fancy new lights on them. We have a ray of light, a little rainbow, and it comes in the form of my favorite genre of music. And by that, I mean soca. So what exactly is soca? Soca is a genre that was created here in Trinidad and Tobago, and many people regard it as the fuel of the carnival season. Carnival here is not just a day, it's not an afternoon, it's not a 2 days, it's not a weekend, it's not even a week. Carnival lasts months. It starts late in one year. It gains a little momentum over the Christmas season, goes into overdrive come Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, and it really builds and builds and builds before it climaxes with Carnival Monday and Tuesday, the two big parade days right before the start of the Lenten season on Ash Wednesday. So what really gets us through all of the different events and activities and all the cultural events and all the parties that we have that we call fetes, what really gets us through all of those different fetes is soca. That is the lifeblood of the season. That's what gives it that energy. Now, soca was actually first created in the early 1970s by a musician and innovator by the name of Lord Shorty, who was then known as Lord Shorty. And he had this concept where he wanted to basically bring together the different musical art forms of people of African descent and East Indian descent, the rhythms of what they had and they celebrated in their distinct individual ethnic groups. He wanted to really bring it all together into one musical form, one musical style. And what he did is that he used calypso music as the bedrock, as the foundation and the skeleton of this new thing that he wanted to create. And he found a way to combine the African with the East Indian with our indigenous calypso music, because yes, calypso is also from Trinidad and Tobago. He found a way to bring it all together and create soca. And that's why many people actually consider soca to be the soul of calypso music, because when he brought them all together, he brought out this energy. He brought out this sound, this vibration that wasn't always really present in calypso music. But so many younger generations coming up can truly identify with something that was new and that would actually become the soundtrack for many generations to come. And that is soca. Now, I love soca and I think it's important for so many different reasons. And one of the reasons is that coming together and celebration of blackness. We see two different types of black identities, the people of African descent and the people of East Indian descent, coming together in one space to celebrate each other, to sing together, to dance together. And what that really represents to me is a defiance of the divisions that were put between us by our former colonial enslavers. We live in a society where there are all of these different divisions, all of these different gaps that were put in place to keep us separated, to maintain the power structure that was created by those on top, the colonial masters. And what soca did is that it washes away many of those divisions. To understand the significance of this is to really understand, at least on a basic level, ignore my neighbor dog, he acting crazy tonight. To understand on a basic level the structure of Trinidad and Tobago society. You see, we were once a colony of the different European powers, the last one being the British. And what happened is with the end of chattel enslavement, and then of course the end of East Indian indentured labor, and then we had our movement to becoming an independent nation in 1962, and then of course we had stepping into being a republic state. Once we had all of those different transitions, what we saw was a waning of interest by the European powers. They no longer had an interest in our nation beyond our natural resources of oil and natural gas. And once that happened, they started to leave en masse, and they left a power vacuum at the very top of our social structure. And the different ethnic groups that were left, those who were brought over here as enslaved workers, those who came here as indentured workers, those who came here just to participate in the system of colonization, and of course the different immigrant groups who have come here since then. What that created was a competition, because we saw all of the remaining ethnic groups competing with each other, trying to climb into massa chair, trying to climb into the top spot in society. And this competition was is particularly fierce between folks of African descent and folks of East Indian descent, because these two groups represent the largest demographical portions of our society. We see these two groups constantly clashing, and it is particularly apparent during political season, during election time, when we have the system of politics in play and it is time to go and cast your vote. We see many people voting just simply along the lines of race, not because of issues, not because of any particular topic that is really trending in society, something that really matters to the people. People tend to vote on tribal lines, and they vote on the basis of their race and people who look and sound like them. And that creates so much tension. Plenty boulders flying up my mouth earlier. Or they probably can't see it, but there's only pew, pew, pew. Droplets all there, droplets, duck and cover for the COVID. I ain't have it there, but just in case. But what soca music created was a common space, even if it's just for the length of a song or the length of a playlist. What it did is that it created a space for the African and for the East Indian to come together as one and sing together and celebrate each other. You know, there's a song here called Trini to the Bone, and it says, how we vote is not how we party. That's the standout line from that song for many people. And it's very, very true, because how we vote when it comes to election time does not represent how we party when soca music playing. And I also think soca is so important because of the music itself. You know, when you hear the different instruments, such as the steel pan, which is also created here in Trinidad and Tobago, the steel pan and the steel drum. When you hear the steel pan, and of course you hear the guitar melodies, or you hear the drums, or you hear brass like a saxophone, or you hear a trumpet, a horn. When you hear that style of music, it really makes you feel at home. Even now that we see electronic music and EDM really having that impact on the sound and style of soca, you hear more synths and you hear more electronic elements in the music. Hearing those raw organic moments, it really keys me in a way that nothing else does. You know, I love hearing soca music and hearing somebody who sounds like me. And you know, goes to the point that representation is so important. You know, we listen to so much American pop and hip hop and R&B and soul and gospel and all of these different sounds that are coming out of America, because most of our airways is dominated by American music. But when you hear somebody who sounds like you, and at least I could speak for myself, when I hear somebody who sounds like me, who uses the same twang and the dialect and creole and has that same lyrical quality, that melody to the voice that, you know, so many people here in Trinidad and Tobago have, when I hear that, it really gets me so happy, because I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel like there's somebody out there on the airwaves who understands me. And I think that is so important for any genre of music and for any group who's listening to the radio, just to hear themselves. And another reason I think soca music is so important is that storytelling, that art of storytelling. And it really links all the way back to our West African heritage here in Trinidad and Tobago. And it echoed through calypso music, and now it resonates through soca. You know, that way of telling a story and a way of really getting people involved and engrossed in the music and feeling like you're reliving a moment with the artist who's singing the song. And I think a perfect example of this is Betty Cat by Prophet Benjamin. Let me tell you the story of Betty Cat. So Prophet Benjamin said he was walking down the road, and Miss Betty Cat bite him. It was in the night, and the cat creep up on him and bite him. And he went to confront Miss Betty. Now, somebody catch the whole action on camera. You know, Trinidadian people, we love to mind people business. As we call it, we love to macko. So somebody macko in, peeping with the little phone, because you know we had device and thing, but I don't know what kind of device this was, because the camera was a little fuzzy. So it's probably a BlackBerry, but it's all right. We know at least we get the footage. Person filming with a little BlackBerry peeking through the door to watch all the action happening with Prophet Benjamin and Miss Betty. He said, Miss Betty, your cat bite me. Now, Miss Betty don't want to believe this, because she don't want to believe that she cat could bite anybody, so she defending the cat. And he watching the cat. Now, the cat sit down proper in the yard watching Prophet, watching Prophet like a true Trinidadian, watching Prophet like, what you going to do? So the cat sit down there proper. And Prophet turning to Miss Betty and saying, Miss Lady, your cat bite me. She said, you sure it's not a dog? Because my cat don't bite people. He telling Miss Betty, listen, lady, your cat bite me. And he get vexed now because Miss Betty ain't taking him on. Next thing I know now, Prophet pelt a piece of wood behind the cat. The cat run helter-skelter. And Miss Betty, like she lose she mind. She gone and she reach for the cat bowl. I don't know if she really have a dog in true. She reach for some bowl with some water and she pelt it behind Prophet. And Prophet say, Miss Lady, you see, you are going to do for you. Next thing you know now, Prophet released a song called Betty Cat. When I tell you this is one of my favorite songs of 2020 Soca. He released a whole song called Betty Cat. And he performed the song live at Soca Monarch, which is a local competition where soca artists compete for grand prize money. You know, he performed the whole song at Soca Monarch. And here the real twist. He bring out Miss Betty. And I could have dead. And Miss Betty come up with a stuffed cat. I could have dead in that bed. When I tell you, a ball. A ball when I see Miss Betty come out. Miss Betty come out in she best outfit, eh? If you see Miss Betty and she come out, she have on she makeup. She look like Fenty Beauty. She come out looking proper. Just like how the cat sit down in she had that day. Just so Miss Betty stand up. And Miss Betty stand up on the stage and she gone with Prophet. And Prophet started pet lyrics behind Miss Betty. Miss Betty started blush. Because she liked the little attention and thing. Here now. That is storytelling. Prophet took a real life incident and put it in a song. He sang an entire song. He sang an entire song before my vocabulary teacher from primary school come behind me. He sang an entire song about Miss Betty and she cat. And the way he framed it, he put innuendo in it. So it sounded like he was singing about something very sexual, which he could have very well been. But he really flipped it and made it about the story of Miss Betty and the cat that bite him. And another reason I think soca music is so important is the development of all the various subgenres that have come out throughout the West Indian diaspora. Because soca left Trinidad and branched out throughout the world in the different cultural enclaves that we have. You know, in America, like Miami and New York, and then you go to London, you have even different parts of the Caribbean. Soca music spread, even to Japan and Germany. Soca has spread. And wherever it has gone, people have created their own twists on the soca. Now, we have different subgenres that started here in Trinidad, like Raga Soca, which was a very, rap-so style of soca, very heavily based in rap, and it really came up in the 1990s. And then, to my knowledge. And then, of course, we have Soca Parang, and I gave a perfect example of that when I spoke about my favorite Christmas song. Go and check out that video. But then outside of Trinidad and Tobago, we have all of these different other genres that have come up, such as, I think it's called Jab, which comes out of Grenada. Of course, we had Ring Bang at one point in Barbados. Then, of course, we have Bouillon Soca, which is coming up very popular now in Dominica, not Dominican Republic. That's a different country. But what I love about all of these different subgenres is that it gives each different group of people their own voice within the entire space of soca. And it has connected all of us. Because now when me as a Trinidadian or anybody in the diaspora, you could travel to any different parts of the Caribbean diaspora, the West Indian diaspora, and you can hear soca music and it's familiar. And it's something that you can share with your brother, your sister, your in-between, anywhere in the diaspora and feel like one people. So I really think soca music is important because it unites us all. That's the underscoring thing here. It unites us all in music. It really brings people together in a way that I personally have not experienced with another genre. But that don't mean it don't happen with other types of music. So that's why I'm pitching this question to you. What other type of music do you think really connects people around the world in the way that soca has done for so many of us here in Trinidad and throughout the diaspora? Let me know. Leave a comment. Educate me now. Let me learn something now. Let me feel something new now so that I could really expand my horizons and we'll have a fun conversation. Anyway, all you, I have work in the morning and it is very late. So before I lose my walk and end up really having to go and sing soca somewhere down in Port of Spain, let me go and jump in my bed. I'll go check all you next time, right? Later.